Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sons of Sequoia podcast, our 21st episode.
SoS number 21. Let's get to it.
Today is Friday, so we're doing a week in review. And what a week it was. A lot of stuff happened. You got your second vaccine dose. That was good.
I did on Monday.
Let's see what else happened. Rush Limbaugh died.
There's a contrast in the news, I think. The Perseverance landed on Mars with its high-tech, learning how to explore our solar system. And at the same time, we had a cold front in Texas, and people do not have enough electricity for heat and water.
Mm-hmm.
What a contrast, you know. So lots going on.
Yep.
Rush Limbaugh died. What else happened this week?
Ted Cruz, amid the people freezing and dying of carbon monoxide poisoning because they're trying to heat themselves with their cars, and he just hopped on a jet to Cancun. Old Cancun cruise. Listen, I'm not going to judge too harshly. I'm just going to say, if he has a political strategist or a public relations person, they dropped the ball on this one. This was obviously there's going to be some blowback for this. He's lying Ted, if you know what I mean.
Well, lying because didn't he say something about, I just went there to take my mother there or something, and I'm going to come back.
He was chaperoning his kids there. That's what he said. But his wife went too, and his itinerary showed that he was going to stay for a week.
Yeah, to Cancun.
Yeah. I mean, he's a liar. That's why they call him Lying Ted. I did a video about Lying Ted, if you remember correctly.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it was a while back, but it was a good one.
Let me see if I can find it. I'm looking through my old videos, seeing if I can find the Lion Ted video. Let me just pull myself up because I think there's some action going on over at Mikey's house.
Yeah.
Hey, you're back.
I'm back. Yeah, and this week on Monday, we talked about the impeachment hearing, the results, and the different speeches. And then on Tuesday was a Booksellers Movie Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
It was a documentary. I kind of like that documentary on Tuesdays. And it was very, very interesting about all the booksellers and how books contain content, but they also contain memories, and they also can be collector's items. And then Wednesday, we had our bracket for sandwiches, and that was good. And then on Thursday, we looked at Matthew, and there's so many stories, little parables and stories in Matthew. It was hard to really cover all of them, but we're going to continue with the Gospel Project, and on Thursday next week we're going to do start on Mark.
Yeah,
and talk about it. It's interesting, very interesting. A lot of people talk about the Bible, but they don't really read the Bible, or they don't even study the Bible. They say, "Oh, I read the Bible. Oh, okay. Did you know that this verse says this?" No, I didn't know that, because they don't really read it from cover to cover, or they don't read a book, the book, and actually study the book, from cover to cover. Matthew alone, there's some things in that that are very, very interesting that a lot of people don't talk about. So did you find it yet, David?
I'm looking. I'm getting close, I feel like.
Okay.
It was so long ago that it's at the end of the queue,
Yeah. And, while you're looking, this week was monumental. Perseverance dropped down on Mars. I think that's fascinating. And there was a clip I saw where they were interviewing the different managers at NASA, and they were uh, talking about the success and what they're doing and where it's going to go and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, you did find.
I did find it in honor of Ted Cruz's shameful trip, and then of course he lied about it. I think that's without question. He lied that he was only there to escort his daughters when it was kind of clear that he wasn't. Here's a little video I made in 2016. Let's take a look at it.
We have this guy, Lion Ted Cruz. We know Lion Ted. I mean, nobody likes him. I've never seen anything like this. In fact,
you're lying. You're lying. Once again, Lion Ted. You're lying. You're lying. Lion Ted. You're lying. Once again, Lion Ted. You're lying. Lion Ted. You're lying. Lion Ted. You're lying. Lion Ted. Once again, Lion Ted. You're lying. You're lying. You're lying. You're lying. Once again, Lion Ted. You're lying. You're lying. Lying. Lion Ted. Lion Ted. Lying.
There we go.
Oh, brother. Oh, wow.
How about that video, huh?
Yeah. Well, why don't you tell people what he lied about? Because I don't think you told them. Because he said he was just going there on a trip, but then they had pictures of him. What was it? They had pictures of him with obviously suitcases that was going to be. He's going to be there for a whole week.
Yeah,
he wasn't just escorting them.
And I guess he had a return flight for next Saturday. So he was getting the hell out of Dodge while his state was falling apart.
So obviously he wasn't going just to escort them and come back. Yeah, escort them for a week or so.
Yeah, he was obviously lying. He's lying Ted. And then that original clip that I made that video from, it just didn't fit with my music, but there's a part where the redneck Trump supporter guy, he's like, "You lying Ted." That's what he says. I like that line too. I should have worked that in, but I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Ted Cruz, and I guess what I'm saying is,
your YouTuber's still up.
Oh yeah, I'm still sharing my screen. Hold on, let me finish. It's not on the broadcast, but it's for you. Doesn't this guy have political strategists? Doesn't he have a PR person? Like, doesn't he have someone to tell him, don't do this right now? Even his secretary, when he's like, book me and my family flights to Cancun right now. And she's shivering in an office without power. And she's like, okay, well, when we get the power back, I'll get on Expedia.com and hook you up. Why wouldn't the secretary say, like, I don't think that's a good idea? No one pushes back. These people, I think they become, I don't know, unaware of the consequences of their actions, or they just don't care. And it's the 21st century. People have cell phone cameras. You're going to get snaps of this guy waiting in line. Like, at least fly private, I don't know.
Yeah.
That would look even worse. Oh, and his wife, and I saw this on Twitter, so I don't know if it's true. But his wife works for Goldman Sachs. She's a managing director. The one that he punched at the end of my video, while he's trying to hug his dad.
Uh-huh.
And part of her portfolio that she manages as a managing director is a lot of Texas energy companies, fossil fuel companies. And they're making out like bandits because the price floats to market rates. And since there's no since there's no energy, it's not regulated there. So people are getting $9,000 energy bills for having heat for 10 days out of 30. And she's the one that's pocketing that money for Goldman Sachs. It's insane.
And he goes to Cancun because it's too cold there for him.
Yeah.
But that cold is making him money.
You got to spend some of that those ill-gotten gains.
Yeah. And Rush Limbaugh died.
Yeah, and I don't
which
have
is which
I don't have the
kind of sad.
I don't have the clip pulled up, but I follow this guy. He's like a Democratic pundit. He's a partisan, you know? And everything that the Republicans do is wrong, and everything the Democrats do is right. And Rush Limbaugh dies, and I thought he had a really good take. He said, Rush Limbaugh, throughout his career, he and I don't agree on anything. We are as far apart as possible. But I will say that 33 years ago, the news was dominated by ABC, CBS, and NBC. And Rush came in and he said, I think I can carve out a niche for myself nationwide. And he started EIB, Excellence in Broadcasting Network. And he became a national figure despite not having the support of the gatekeepers at the time. And this guy's young. He's younger than me. And he says, so, you're not supposed to say anything bad about the dead. And Rush and I didn't agree on anything, but I won't take him to task for that. What I will say is he was a pioneer in this industry. I'm an independent media, and he was one of the first people to show you didn't need the gatekeepers to be a national figure in independent media. And I think that's kind of cool. Like when someone dies that you disagree with, you find something they did that is admirable. Like,
Yep.
He became a voice for disaffected conservatives across the nation, but he also became a voice across the nation without any gatekeepers. Or, I'm sure he had some gatekeepers, but without NBC, CBS, or ABC. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Now, I know that this is... Should I pull up the clips of... Donald Trump, what he had to say about...
We can just show exactly what he said without editing.
Well, it's going to be edited because Fox News did not put up the raw clips.
Oh, okay.
So I have to use the Jimmy Kimmel clips. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Texas has been hit especially.
Can't hear it.
Yeah, let me pull it up first.
Okay.
Full tribute it was.
Well, Rush,
Do you want to say who?
no, I don't. They're private conversations. But by the way, all of them have, with one exception, picked up the phone and called me as well.
That's Biden talking about former presidents that have picked up the phone and called him. He said they all have, with one exception, picked up the phone and called me. But let's get into the Rush Limbaugh stuff.
Blink if it's the fat one. Trump has not called Joe Biden. Trump doesn't have time to call Joe Biden. He's too busy calling Fox and Friends. After 27 days in hiding, Trump called into Fox News today to talk about his friend Rush Limbaugh, who died, and what a beautiful tribute it was.
Well, Rush thought we won, and so do I, by the way. I think we won substantially. And Rush thought we won, and he thought it was over at 10 o'clock, 10:30, it was over. And a lot of other people feel that way too, but Rush felt that way strongly, and many people do, many professionals do. And I don't think that could have happened to a Democrat. You would have had riots going all over the place if that happened to a Democrat.
Anyway, who died again? There's no I in eulogy, Don, and it's not like the Fox crew didn't try. They did everything possible to tee him up to talk about Rush, but somehow it kept coming back to this election that he still thinks he won.
Did he say to you what role he would like to see you play next?
Well, we didn't talk too much about that. I didn't want to talk about that too much either because I was I was disappointed by voter tabulation. I think it's disgraceful what happened. We were like a third world country on election night with the closing down of the centers and all of the things that happened late in the evening. And he was furious at it. And many people are furious. You don't know how angry this country is. And people were furious.
Well, I have to believe that listening to Trump blather on nonsensically about himself is what Rush would have wanted.
There we go. Fascinating, huh?
Very interesting, yeah.
It's fascinating that this liberal pundit is like, hey, he's an independent media. I give him credit for that. And Trump doesn't really give him credit for anything. He says, what's Rush Limbaugh's
right.
legacy? Well, he was mad when I lost. That's all that matters, right?
Well, yeah. But he said, don't you think he would think? And he says, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about the election.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about me.
This isn't about him. It's about me.
It's about me.
Did
and he died.
Yeah. Did Laura make it home?
Yeah.
Is that when you cut your camera?
Yeah.
Did she just go straight to bed?
Yeah.
It's early morning. I'm feeling a little tired today. I've been tired all week. And I think, you know who I blame?
Google is still on.
Oh, yeah. I see.
There we go.
Yeah. I'm on the broadcast. We're up. I just forget to unshare my screen sometimes, you know.
Okay.
You know who I blame for my fatigue is Dave Frazier. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of this guy. Where is he? Oh, he's not even in Google Images top images. Let me see. Dave Frazier Fox.
He's the local weatherman, and he just reports the weather, David. He doesn't create the weather.
He's full of lies, this guy. And so
only because he's a weatherman.
He's so full of
You'd
lies.
say the same thing about any weather person.
I was expecting it to be nice because Dave Frazier, this liar, told me it would be nice. And then it was super cold all week, and it's just taken the wind out of my sails. I feel like I didn't accomplish as much as I would have liked to this week. I was sleepy, and it's all Dave Frazier's fault. That's all I have to say. Should we talk about perseverance?
Yeah, we could. That was it landed. They were happy around 4 o'clock. 2 o'clock Eastern time, I think it was, on yesterday. In the afternoon, Eastern time yesterday. I think it was 2 o'clock.
Should I try to find that clip that you liked of the guy talking to the kid?
I thought that was awesome. I thought that was just that was really good. I can probably find, yeah.
I mean, I can find it.
It's.
Is it like halfway through?
Yeah, it's about it's about 2/3 the way through, and it's quite a ways through actually.
I'm looking.
I found it on YouTube.
Yeah, I got it. I mean,
I found it on you. Oh, okay.
I'm on the clip. I'm scrubbing the clip. I'm trying to find that.
Toward the end, it's like 2/3, even more than 2/3. I think it's like 2 hours and something, but it's like 2 hours and I don't know, but it's pretty far down.
Yeah, there, I see it. I got it.
I thought that was awesome. I was very impressed with the kid's question and the answer.
Yeah, let's take a look, and then you can say what you were impressed by. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Landon Applegate. I'm in 6th grade, and I'm going to Academy for Academic Excellence. And my question is, do you think we could get resources from Mars to help on future missions, or even as like a launching point?
Great question, Landon. Actually, we have an experiment called the Mars Oxygen In Situ Resource Utilization Experiment, or MOXIE, and it's going to demonstrate generating oxygen from atmospheric CO2. and that could help generate breathable oxygen, and even if we can liquefy it, oxidizer for propulsion systems. So that's a tech demo on Perseverance. And then we're going to continue to characterize the frozen water on and below the surface of Mars, and eventually try to figure out how to extract that water from the Martian soil, or what we call regolith. And then we can use that for potable water and also break it down into oxygen and hydrogen for rocket fuel. So absolutely, we're going to try to eventually figure out how to live off the land to support human missions to Mars.
Thanks for taking the time to talk to us today, Steve.
Thank you.
Okay, what did you like most about that clip?
Well, first of all, they asked a kid,
Mm-hmm.
6th grade kid, and the kid had a good question. Oh yeah, what about the future? Basically, he's talking about the future. A kid is talking about the future. But then the answer was just as awesome, because he didn't talk down to the kid. He talked as if the kid was a colleague.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is what we're doing, like a reporter. This is what we're doing. And he named the program. He named what they were doing and what they were trying to do, what they're anticipating, and he gave the kid a reasonable answer. And as far as I'm concerned, when you talk to children like that, they will respond in like manner.
Mm-hmm.
They will start thinking in that way. If you talk to them like children, like babies, they'll think like babies.
Yeah.
And if you elect them to, a if you elect them to a public office, they'll still act like babies. But you talk them. They're adults. You talk to them as adults, and when they're young, that does not mean they're dumb.
Mm-hmm.
They may not have your experience. They may not have how much knowledge you've gained, but they're intelligent. Talk to them according to their intelligence. And you say, yeah, this is it. And sometimes you might define terms because I don't know the definition of that term. Define the terms, explain it to them, and so that they understand. They go, oh yeah, I see. That 6-year-old kid probably would understand more of that explanation than an adult who was talked to as a baby when they were a kid and never was really challenged to actually use their brain and think and listen. Anyway, that's why I liked it.
It's like that old, when you get there, act like you've been there before. And then also, when someone comes to you, act like they belong there.
Yeah.
He asked the question, and the scientist answered the question like, the kid belongs here. I'm going to tell him the answer. It shows mutual respect.
It's respect, yes. And he respects the kid, but it's not a kid. He respects the question, he respects the person, and he respects the intelligence that came behind that question, and as a colleague.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I'm concerned, intelligence knows no age. It could be anyone and everyone. Even young children, before they've even developed, you just talk to them. And because I don't know, I feel strongly about that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know when you and my kids were babies, less than a year old, I'd talk to you about what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it would put you to sleep.
Still does.
But still, if you're going to get something that you're interested in, then you'll be able to talk and listen.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, a lot of people today don't listen.
No.
And that's why I say in the Sons of Sequoia, keep on talking, but listen more than you talk, and try to understand what the other people are saying. And so many people don't do that. They've never had to do that. They've never been challenged to do that, and they can do it.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to you and I have talked to a lot of people. We talk to them, but as we're talking to them, we can see that they're not there. They're thinking of what they're going to say. They're not listening to what I'm saying or what you're saying. They're thinking the next thing they say.
Yeah.
Then they'll say something. And you can even go on a tangent and they have their own they have their own path that they're going on, and people don't listen very well.
Yeah, it's like it reminds me of when I was showing you about podcast examples, because you've never listened to a podcast in your life. So I was showing you clips from Joe Rogan when he's interviewing Elon Musk. And Joe Rogan keeps asking him about aliens, and it's clear that Elon Musk does not care about aliens. And Joe Rogan really does. And Joe Rogan said, "Isn't it interesting that this happened and that happened and this Air Force pilot saw this and that?" And Elon Musk just had to say, if there were aliens, I'd probably know about it. I own the 5th largest space force in the world. But it was clear that, Joe Rogan, I don't think he's as smart as Elon Musk, obviously. But also, it's like, you like space, I like aliens. That's the same thing. Let's talk about aliens. Right?
That's a good way to frame it.
And
I don't disagree.
There's this lack of understanding there. And so I think you could sort of see Elon Musk's eyes glaze over, like, I'm tired of talking about aliens. I don't want to talk about aliens. And Joe Rogan, he's like, well, you like space, so therefore you like aliens. And that's not necessarily true. Because I think that Elon Musk likes the practical considerations of space. How do you get...
Because Joe Rogan, that's what I was going to say. Joe Rogan was talking about fantasy, and Elon Musk was talking about reality and science. He says, yeah, that's not why I'm here. Actually, why was he there? Was he there to talk about what Joe Rogan wanted to talk about? Or was he there to talk about what he wanted to talk about?
Yeah.
He says, I mean, he could have said, I think it was a bit appropriate to say, why am I here? Why am I here?
Yeah. To talk about what you feel like. I mean, that's sort of what a podcast is, though. The host's interests are, in large respect, why.
But when you have a guest on, you talk about what they want to talk about. And if you interview someone, you says, oh, I'm glad to interview Elon Musk. Let me tell you what I think. To me, that doesn't fit.
Yeah.
I'm going to interview the President of the United States. Oh, let me tell you about what I did the other day. That's not an interview. Yeah, I guess I don't know what a podcast is. Of course, I'm on one.
You're on one right this second.
I'm on one. But to me, I guess that was a podcast, but it seems to me that was an interview because he was asking Elon Musk about space and his endeavors and what he's doing. And I listening to that, I didn't listen to all of it, but what I listened to, I was impressed. I felt that Elon Musk was a very sharp guy. Mm-hmm. He's a smart guy. And he's not, he's lucky and fortunate and he's rich, but he's also very smart.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. A lot of those people up there are very smart.
Also, there was a GameStop hearing yesterday on Capitol Hill. Yeah. And this is funny. Let's take a look at this real quick. So just take a look at the views. This is 821, 1,000. This is the House Financial Services Committee. 2,000, 5.2, 4.9. GameStop hearing. 500,000 people watched it.
Wow.
And it was fascinating. They got the Reddit guy, and obviously Reddit's biased, and that's where I'm getting my news from, but the Reddit guy was calm, collected. He said the catchphrase. The catchphrase for Reddit is, I like the stock. This isn't advice. I just like the stock. And he was explaining the due diligence he did and what caused him to buy $50,000 worth of GameStop at $3 a share, which at its highest price turned into $50 million. Here's the guy. His name is Keith Gill. And I guess this guy, he was great. He was calm, he was cool, he was collected. And then the other guy from Robinhood, this is the CEO of Reddit. He was on there. And then let's see, who else? The Robinhood guy. That's Keith Gill again. The Robin Hood guy looks a lot like. There he is. There's the Robin Hood guy. He was very bad. He was stumbling over his words. Citadel Capital, that was the people that bailed out Robin Hood. Apparently in the hearing, I didn't see the hearing. According to Reddit, they threw the Robin Hood guy under the bus. They said, like, we're the big fish. Robin Hood's the little fish. Let's take this opportunity for this hearing. The senators, the Congress people are upset. Let's give the Redditors a pass. Let's throw Robin Hood under the bus. And as the rich people, let's work on legislation that makes sure that the Redditors can never do this to us again. Well, they're the fall guy, Robin Hood. They're going to be the sacrificial lamb. It was I mean, that's the story that I got. I didn't follow it that closely, and it kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, sure. Like they're going to protect their assets.
Yeah, and the money behind Robin Hood will be fine. But Robin Hood, they'll let that be the sacrificial lamb. And then they can work on legislation to make sure that average Joes can never do this to rich people again. That'll be the next step. So yeah, it was fascinating. That's still going on. Obviously, if we look, when we did our GameStop episode, GameStop was over 200. It was 250 or so. Today, it's $41.91.
Wow.
If we take a 1 month, look at that.
Yeah, wow.
So it would have been good to sell right there, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Maybe right there.
Or maybe there. Either place.
And this was right when they closed off trading, 27th.
Mm.
So I think they manipulated the markets, but they'll get away with it. They're rich, you know?
Yeah.
So that story's still going on. What else did we talk about this week? Oh, we did a sandwich bracket fight on Wednesday.
Yeah, we did. That was fun.
It was fun. But one thing that was missing, I think we could go into this for about 5 or 10 minutes. And you pointed this out right away. They had a patty melt, which is similar, but not the same. There were no hamburgers on our sandwich bracket.
I like hamburgers.
Now, I like hamburgers too. Do you like regular old hamburgers, cheeseburgers, bacon cheeseburgers? Like if you had to rank them. Let's do a little rank.
Yeah, well, a little bit of background, David. I grew up eating hamburgers. I mean, grew up in a grocery store, and my parents worked, and I worked with them. And by the way, I just want to say a lot of people say, "Oh, that's too bad. You didn't live at a home." No, I live in a grocery store. It was a great place to grow up. I loved it. I loved it because I was with my parents all day long. Mm-hmm. And before school, after school, I'd come home to the store, and I loved it. But since we were working, my parents were hardworking, very hardworking. On the way home, would stop and get a hamburger for dinner on the way home. So I have hamburgers all the time. Joe's Grill, and I says, I want 2 hamburgers and a lumpy malt. 2 hamburgers because they were small. Uh-huh. By the way, my dad was a butcher, and he brought Joe the hamburger.
Beef. Yeah.
The beef. And my dad he knew what he was doing. He had really high quality hamburger, good beef. And he made it just the way Joe wanted to. And the guy's name was Joe. And he loved horses. And it was just like you walk in. Joe's Grill was just almost like you walk in, you'd have like 4 booths over here and then a counter, and that's it. It wasn't very big at all. And up at the top at the front here when you walk in, was the cash register. But behind the cash register above, he loved horses, and he had all these horses that people would give him. So when I was in school, we had to do carvings in our art class, and so I told my parents, I need to carve something. So my mother walked down the aisle and says, "Here's some ivory soap. Go carve that." I said, "Okay." So I took a bar of ivory soap into school, and I carved a horse's head out of it, and I gave it to Joe one
Nice.
day when we stopped, and he goes, "Ah, thank you, Michael, thanks." And every time I'd go, I'd see my little horse's head up there, right in the middle of all these other really nice, really nice horse. My little soap horse's head was dropped there right in the middle of all of them. He put it up there, and I felt like I belonged.
Yeah.
I really felt good. But I always have 2 hamburgers and a lumpy malt.
You can't really find malts anywhere anymore. You notice that?
Well, do you know what a lumpy malt is?
It's just like a milkshake with extra malt powder, so that
No.
the malt powder becomes lumpy. What
No.
is it?
They would put the milk, they'd put the ice cream, and they'd put the malt in there, right? And then they'd mix it, and then give it to you. But one time they were in a hurry, and they didn't mix it enough, and when they handed it to me, the ice cream was still ice cream. It wasn't blended.
Mm-hmm.
And so the malt was lumpy, but the lumps were ice cream.
Ah, okay.
I loved it. And so I began ordering it that way. And they would smile and they go, "Okay, a lumpy malt." First of all, what's a lumpy malt? It says, "You get lumps of ice cream in it." Oh, okay. And my dad would laugh.
Yeah.
Because I created my own specialized order, a lumpy malt.
The thing is,
Because you blend it, but you leave the ice cream lumps in there. It's kind of like a blizzard with chocolate chips in it.
yeah, there's like a
But it's
little texture. It's like how people order their eggs. Some people like their scrambled eggs just totally done, and some people like them soft. You like your malts a little lumpy.
Yeah, back then.
But
Yeah.
you would get 2 hamburgers. The thing is, I've always been a cheeseburger fan myself. I rarely eat hamburgers without cheese. Do you feel like regular old hamburgers was more common in your day?
Oh yeah, it was at least where I was. Yeah, because I never really had a cheeseburger was kind of like special.
Mm-hmm.
That was a special occasion, and that was an exotic hamburger. You put cheese on it, no. You have hamburger and you have an onion on there and pickles and mustard, or that was a hamburger.
Mm-hmm.
A cheeseburger, that's something different. It's kind of like a patty melt or something.
Yeah, it's not really a hamburger is a hamburger.
A hamburger is a hamburger with maybe some onions, pickles, maybe lettuce, but we didn't have lettuce. We just had onions, pickles, and mustard. But I loved them. I loved it, and it's a good meal. But to answer your question originally, I guess to rank them, when you get to like a bacon cheeseburger, a bacon burger, whatever, those are good because I like bacon.
Mm-hmm.
Those are tasty, but they don't really. But it's kind of like hamburger has its own place for me.
A hamburger is a hamburger.
A hamburger is a hamburger, and then you got the cheeseburger and the bacon cheeseburger and the triple bacon cheeseburger and the double this and all that other stuff is gourmet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just like a fancy version of a hamburger. But a
All right.
hamburger is a hamburger.
So now that we've decided that a hamburger is a hamburger, let's take 5 minutes. Let's go through the Red Robin menu and rank them 1 through 10.
Okay.
Here we go.
1 through 10. They have that many?
The Mad Love Burger. What does this look like? There's some crap here. I don't like it. There's avocado, though. I do like avocado.
I like avocado.
Swiss cheese, bacon. This looks like hash browns or something. I don't know. Too fancy for me. I give that a 5. Southern Charm. This looks like mushrooms, bacon, and cheddar cheese. That sounds good. I would eat that. Do you see it? Should I get rid of us so we could see this better?
Just move. Oh, it's barbecue sauce looks like on it.
Yeah. Let's see, what is this one? Peppered bacon and cheddar cheese with barbecue sauce. I'd eat that.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't eat any of these.
Yeah, me too. This
Back
looks
and
like
forth
caramelized
cheese.
onions and blue cheese. I don't know if I would like that one all that much. Because
Oh, I'd eat it.
I would eat it. That one might be at the bottom of the heap for me, though. Now we're coming to my favorites because I can already see. I love this one. Remember when we would get this one at Red Robin? In the before times when we could go to restaurants?
The bonsai.
No, the Master Cheese. Oh, yeah, you don't see my cursor. Interesting. The Master Cheese, it's just 2 different types of cheese with pickles and mayo. It's good.
That looks good. The bonsai has pineapple on there. That looks pretty good.
Would you? Yeah, you're not opposed to pineapple burgers?
Oh no, I did it. It again. That's in the gourmet section. It's not a hamburger. That's just a hamburger with stuff on it.
Yeah, it's because some people, they're opposed to pineapple on pizza, even. I don't mind pineapple on pizza. A little sweet, a little salty.
I like pineapple. Whiskey River barbecue.
The barbecue sauce looks like those, fried onions.
Yeah, that looks really good. Oh my goodness.
This is my favorite, Royal Red Robin Burger.
That's what you'd always get.
I love the Royal Red Robin Burger. The egg yolk, it breaks and it forms a natural sauce over the bacon and the cheese.
Mm-hmm.
And people give Americans a hard time because American cheese isn't really cheese. Did you know that?
No.
American cheese is like processed dairy product. Let's Google, is American cheese real cheese? Well, as you might have guessed, it's not actually cheese, at least not legally. The FDA calls it pasteurized processed American cheese product. Oh, so it has to be more than half cheese, which is technically pressed curds and milk. So American cheese isn't cheese, but the Royal Red Robin Burger, they use American cheese. And the thing about American cheese is that it may not be cheese, but it's absolutely delicious. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree.
Fried jalapenos and salsa on a burger, the Burnin' Love Burger. What do you think of that? Would you eat that?
Burn it. I probably would, but I don't want to be too hot. Well, what is those things? The middle things in the middle there? It looks like
they're fried jalapeno rings.
Nuggets.
They're fried jalapeno rings.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that looks very interesting. If I was in the mood, I would. I'm not always in the mood for hot stuff, but yeah, it looks really good. Red Robin Gourmet Cheeseburger. There you go.
Honestly, I can't imagine a situation where I would order the Burnin' Love Burger over the Gourmet Cheeseburger.
Me neither. Me neither. There's too much there, and why? I want to taste the burger.
Yeah.
Why would I want it to offend it with the jalapenos?
And I love a cheeseburger. This looks perfect to me. Mayo, lettuce, tomato, a slice of cheese, a burger, pickles and onions on the bottom. Perfect.
Is that all of them? Oh, there's more.
More bacon cheeseburger, delicious. Guacamole bacon cheeseburger.
That's what I would always get because I like guacamole.
I think a guacamole bacon cheeseburger, you're approaching that's sort of like the ideal perfection. If a place has good bacon, good guacamole, good cheese, I think all of those complement each other with a burger, whereas you still get the burger's still the star, but there's not too much crap piled on it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like,
just the good stuff.
Like this, I think your mouth would be burning, you'd taste jalapenos. This, all the ingredients, guacamole, bacon, and cheese,
would blend together.
They blend together with the patty, and you get a good burger experience.
But it looks like there's onions there, and it looks like that's Swiss cheese.
I think they let you choose the cheese, though, on the guacamole bacon cheeseburger.
I choose cheddar. I like cheddar cheese.
I like cheddar. I also, because of Red Robin, I like American cheese on my hamburgers because it melts perfect, because it's not real cheese. It's processed cheese product. What do you think about mushrooms? Like a mushroom Swiss?
I like mushrooms.
I like mushrooms too. Laura doesn't, so we rarely eat mushrooms when we all eat together when we cook. Right. But I would eat mushrooms a lot more if she liked mushrooms, because you like mushrooms and I like mushrooms.
Yeah, I like mushrooms.
The Monster Burger, that's just 2
That's
patties.
just too much.
I would eat it.
Yeah, I would too if I was younger. I think portion size becomes more important when you get older.
Mm-hmm.
If you overeat, I just don't feel good when I overeat, and that's a lot of food.
So
I've eaten them before, and they're good. They're very good.
I think that's the end of the burgers, because if we scroll
Is it?
down, grilled turkey, that does not count.
Oh, okay.
And this is a processed plant product that they make taste like meat. Impossible. No. Vegan, absolutely not. Veggie, yuck. Keep it simple. Is this like what Joe's Grill would serve you?
No, they would have
Lettuce and tomato and
tomato,
onion
onions,
pickles.
and pickles. But yeah, do they just have a regular burger somewhere?
This is it. Keep it simple. A sesame seed bun and a patty.
I think. Well, they didn't have sesame seed back then, but I think what you do is you order that, and then you can put things on it. You can.
Yeah, you put ketchup and
pickles
mustard and mayo or whatever.
What can you put pickles and lettuce and?
Probably.
I would imagine you could do that. Yeah.
And these don't count. Chicken doesn't count. Chicken is not a burger. Oh, now they have their tavern burgers. I think we've covered the main burgers. If you had to choose one that we saw, which one would you choose?
Well, the one I always get, and I got to say I really like it, is the guacamole bacon burger.
That's the one you would choose. Which one would you choose last out of all of these?
Probably the jalapeno.
I think I would choose.
Because the jalapeno interferes with the beautiful, lovely taste of the rest of the burger.
I would choose the Royal Red Robin. That's the one with the sunny side up egg, bacon and cheese.
Uh-huh.
And I think my bottom would also be the Burn in Love jalapeno burger. Because I don't want fried crap on my burger. Also, the fried crap, the texture takes away from the texture of a burger. And I also feel like guacamole bacon or Royal Red Robin, the only difference between guacamole bacon and Royal Red Robin is one has guacamole and one has a fried egg. But they're both bacon cheeseburgers with one more thing. I think bacon cheeseburgers with one more thing, that's the max you can put on something. I look at some of these, and there's a million different things on them. And it's like, that's too much. Look at that. There's avocado. There's some weird, I'm looking at the Mad Love burger. Some weird, is that hash browns? Bacon? Is this like a salad? Too much. So we've decided we both wouldn't want the jalapeno burger. That would be our last. But you're a guacamole bacon burger guy. And I'm a fried egg bacon cheeseburger guy.
Yeah.
I feel like we've gotten closer to having a heart attack just by looking at all these burgers.
See, why isn't that a sandwich? 2 pieces of bread and stuff in the middle.
Yeah.
Why don't you consider that a sandwich? Because you say, oh, well, yeah, but you actually cook the burger. Well, you cook other things too. You grill the cheese.
Or like a Italian beef sandwich or a French dip. You roast the beef. It's roast beef.
Yeah. So why isn't a hamburger a sandwich?
Or a fried chicken sandwich. That was on the sandwich bracket list. You cook the chicken.
And so, again, I ask, why isn't a hamburger a sandwich?
I think it is. It just wasn't on the list.
Okay. I'll accept that.
So while we're on the topic of hamburgers, I like talking about food because people might disagree with you on politics. They might disagree with you on your takes on the news, but everybody likes food. I mean, people may not like burgers. They may say, oh, I'm a vegan. How do you know if someone's vegan? Don't worry. They'll tell you about it.
Okay.
So while we're on the topic of burgers, though, and I like talking about food, what is your opinion on sliders?
Well, don't have much of an opinion. They're okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. I can't say anything wrong about them.
See, here's my opinion on sliders. Like
You're gonna have a slider, just have a burger.
Yeah, the closest thing we have to sliders is fast food wise. We don't have White Castle. White Castle is famous for their sliders. The closest thing we have is Good Times. They have Bambino burgers, and those are officially just sliders. Now, what you said is exactly how I feel about sliders. I'm not going to order one Bambino burger. I'm going to order 4. And then at that point, why don't I just order a hamburger? And I feel like sliders, maybe I haven't had a good slider, but the bread to meat ratio is off. It's too bready. So I'm a big proponent of regular old burgers over sliders. Some people love sliders, but not me. I'm on Team Burger, not Team Slider.
Yeah, well, me too. Me too.
And I'm sure we'll do a tier list about this, but let's take the big 3. McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King. If you had to order them 1, 2, 3 for their burgers.
Well, that's tough. I'd have to go. It's been a long time since I've been to all 3 of those.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Wendy's more than the other 2, so I'd have to say Wendy's would be before the other 2, only because I go there and it's convenient.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like their burgers. I do like them. Between Burger King and McDonald's, to me, they're very, very similar. I probably would do the open grilled Burger King before McDonald's, but depending on the location, McDonald's might have better burgers than Burger King.
Yeah, it's
true.
hard
to tell.
Like when I see these like Try Guys, this guy eats the menu and he gives you his opinion. A lot of that is determinant upon maybe the one he went to isn't indicative of the mean or median quality of that chain.
Yes.
I think the chains can have different levels of quality. I remember...
not only the chains, but the individual, a lot of those are franchised. Individual quality control within the different locations can vary in quality too.
Yeah.
They don't want to, and they'll have standards, but then those standards are only good if you adhere to them strictly and actually put a spin on them to make them good. Because I know I've been to Subways. Some Subways are really good, and other Subways you can tell a difference, and they all have the same standards, but the way those standards are implemented can have variability.
Also, food has variability. I remember going to a Subway in California. I was on vacation, and I was just hungry, and I like to eat the local food, but I was so hungry, it's like, I got to eat something, So I went to a Subway, and it was really, really good, and the reason why is because there's a lot of farms in California, and the vegetables were so fresh, especially the tomatoes. And I remember thinking, like, these tomatoes make the same, like a delicious ingredient can make a sandwich. And they were fresh tomatoes that seemed like they were from California, And if I was in Colorado and they loaded those tomatoes up in a truck and drove them over the Rocky Mountains, and they got to my local Subway and they chopped them up, same tomatoes, they wouldn't have been as good.
That's right. That's right. A lot of food is freshness. And that's why when I went to Joe's Grill, going back to Joe's Grill,
yeah.
When I went to Joe's Grill, the meat they would use for the hamburgers, my dad had just ground either that day or the day before. At most, it was 1 day old. He'd go there every day. And I'd have a hamburger every night.
Yeah.
And it was fresh hamburgers, and I can tell you, it was really, really good.
Yeah, and that's why you kind of, you don't like to go to a place like Yogi Berra said, no one goes there anymore, it's too crowded. But when a place is dead, you're worried they're serving you old food.
That's right. That's right.
As for me, I would put Wendy's first, just like you. Wendy's is delicious. Okay, here's my breakdown. Wendy's is delicious, and I don't feel that bad when I eat it. I feel like I ate fast food, but not like terrible. Okay, McDonald's.
Okay.
McDonald's is delicious, but I feel bad when I eat it. Burger King to me is not delicious, and I feel bad when I eat it.
Okay.
So Wendy's first, McDonald's second, Burger King third. For those reasons. Those are good reasons, don't you think?
Yeah.
Honestly, if you put a McDonald's double cheeseburger, McDouble, in front of me right now, I would eat it. And while I was eating it, I would say, this is so good. And then 5 minutes afterwards, I'd say, I don't feel that good. I think McDonald's is delicious. Like, honestly, and the people, they poo-poo McDonald's. They say, oh, it's crappy food. And it is crappy food. But I'm not saying it's not crappy food. I'm saying it's delicious. If you've ever tasted a McDonald's hamburger and fries, they're absolutely delicious.
Well, their fries are good, I think.
Yeah.
I would say their fries are very good.
Their fries are number one. If we're doing burgers, that's how I rank them. If we're doing fries, McDonald's number one.
Good fries. I don't know how they do it, but they're good.
I think they just bathe them in oil and salt.
Maybe. Yeah. But it's good stuff.
Well, we talked about the news. Ted Cruz, old Cancun lion Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
We saw my video. What did you think of my video?
It's good. As well, you put it to music. And when I was listening to it, the guy talking to Ted, that, oh man, this Ted is trying to run for office and this guy is yelling at him. This guy probably doesn't, he's just parroting what he heard. He's probably not that smart. But you put it to music. And when you put it to music, it became entertaining. It was good. It's like da 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 da. Line Ted, da 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 da. Line Ted, da 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 da. I like that. It's and so it kind of says, okay, I don't know. To me, it's just kind of like, okay, yeah, let's back up and not take life too seriously. Let's just enjoy what we're looking at here.
Yeah, and I mean,
I liked it.
You can be smart. You can be educated. It doesn't matter what class you're from. You could be uneducated. You could be upper class, middle class, lower class. You could be white. You could be black. You could be Hispanic. You could be Asian. You could be part of the LGBT community. But one thing that everyone can agree on is that Ted Cruz is a liar. And I think we proved that today.
So a lie is a lie. Is that what you're saying? A lie is a lie. No matter where you're coming from, a lie is a lie.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter where you came from. You can see a liar. You know a liar when you see one. And so Donald Trump, you can criticize him for a lot of things. But even Donald Trump saw that Ted Cruz was a liar. And he gave him the name Lion Ted. So, and I think that got borne out this week, right? It was clear he was lying.
Yeah. Well, I think Rush Limbaugh too. The contrast between whether you like him or not, look at a legacy. Rush Limbaugh, like the guy said, he did create a whole genre of news outlet. He did create that. So give him credit.
Mm-hmm.
And all Trump would say was his election. He wouldn't even acknowledge. It's not that he didn't give him credit. He wouldn't even acknowledge what Rush Limbaugh did. It's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting.
And Rush Limbaugh, love him or hate him, and I guess you could say Donald Trump, love him or hate him. But one of the reasons why we're talking about them is because of another story that we covered today. Because they had something called perseverance. Right?
You don't give up. You really don't give up. You keep going, yeah?
And I think, Rush Limbaugh, he got on the radio, he kept going. He said things. People said, you're racist, you're sexist. He said, you can call me all those things, but I'll be here tomorrow morning saying racist and sexist things for the next 30 years. And then he did it. And he didn't give up. And yes, you could say that's bad. He brought that into the discourse. And, some people may think it's bad, some people may think it's not, but it just proves that you're capable of doing a lot when you set your mind to it and you don't give up. You're capable of doing a lot of good. You're capable of doing a lot of bad. So, but there's something to be said for just doing something. And I think that he should be applauded for that. He did something for 33 years. I want to show you, hopefully it works, because I Googled perseverance. I was thinking about that word this morning when I was waking up. And it's perseverance. So severance is like severing your relationship with someone, breaking off. Per is around, So you're finding a way around giving up, basically. That's what perseverance is. And I think that's what it takes to do anything significant in this world. Because I think it's easy to give up. And you have to sort of put your mind towards finding a way around giving up. You know what I mean?
Well, the other thing too is never consider failure as a stopping point. Failure should be a learning tool. I think sometimes let's get back to Rush Limbaugh. When you say things racist or sexist, sometimes what that will do is bring out the opposite view in people. And if they never had that type of a stimulus or stimuli, they would just take it for granted.
Mm-hmm.
But once it's challenged, then you have to respond to that. And in responding to that will strengthen your resolve in things that are good.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when things that are bad, it will strengthen your resolve on the good side of things. And sometimes it reveals the bad side of people.
Yeah.
And you'll never know it's there. And so it's not always bad. That's why, let's getting back to what we did on Monday about the politics. You've got to have dialogue. You got to have opposite views, and you got to have both sides. Listen to both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to because it's going to resolve what you believe, or it may change what you believe. But it's never going to happen if you don't have open dialogue.
Yeah.
And so I think a free society has got to have a responsible and vetted press.
Mm-hmm.
The press has to be there.
Well, I think everyone's the press these days. That's why people are scared on social media. And you can say what you want. And the thing is, it's new, and we don't know how to deal with it. Humans as a whole don't really know how to deal with it. So they say, should we make rules? Like, no, maybe we shouldn't. Our whole thing is not making rules restricting speech. It's like, but bad things are happening. And it's like, well, maybe by allowing speech to be free, we'll solve problems through free speech, not through restricting speech. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes. I mean, we got to think about it. Because I'm not going to say there's an easy answer.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is, now that we have this problem, smart people are going to start looking at this, maybe smarter than me, but they're going to start looking at this and try to figure this thing out. They never would have figured it out unless there's a problem.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe the system itself will be a self-righting machine.
That's right.
The bad things will happen, things will get mitigated, and in the marketplace of ideas, a more enlightened and informed populace will result. But with going back to Rush Limbaugh, I want to play one quote before we sign off.
Okay.
A video with Bob Marley. So Rush Limbaugh, he had an army of loyal supporters. And I think if you look at, I don't know, Kenneth Copeland or someone, he's out there telling people, don't you stop tithing. We looked at that this week, that clip.
And he's not the only one, by the way.
Yeah, and I think that what they see is, listeners or wealth sometimes, money, that's proof that you're doing well in life. And sometimes, like this podcast, we don't have very many listeners or any at all yet. And we haven't really marketed it, but sometimes just doing this is what's important. It's not having legions of fans or having people saying what you said was wrong. It's just getting it out there. And there's value in things that's not tangible. And I want to play this quote that Bob Marley did. Bob Marley quote. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Have you made a lot of money out of your music?
Money. I mean, how much is a lot of money to you?
Yeah, that's a good question. Have you made, say, millions of dollars?
No.
Are you a rich man?
When you mean rich, what you mean?
Do you have a lot of possessions? A lot of money in the bank?
Possession make you rich? I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life, forever.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, do you have a lot of possessions? Oh, possessions make you rich? I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life forever.
My richness is life.
That's a pretty good quote, don't you think?
That's a really good quote. Yay, yay, Bob Marley.
Good job, Bob Marley.
Yeah, and a lot of people understand that and live that. Yeah, that's good. And there's a lot of people in every country. There's good people everywhere, David.
Yep.
Good people everywhere,
so
in every country.
Before we sign off this week, I want to say we can listen to the words of Bob Marley and say, you can get a lot of money and you can get a lot of possessions. But a lot of money and a lot of possessions, they don't necessarily make you rich. Richness should be life forever. So that's what I want to say at the end of the week. Do you have anything you'd like to say while I play the flute?
Yes. I want to say, keep on talking. But the Sons of Sequoia, listen more than you talk. And try to understand what the other person is trying to say.